idle clicker games. People like to play these games when they don't have a ton of time to grind games on their phone, when they don't have a ton of time to grind games on their computer or on their console. So I decided to put a list together for you guys of the top 10 idle clicker games that people are loving, that they have been loving, and that are new to the scene. So sit back, chillax, and get ready for the top 10 idle clickers that you should try today. Ooh La La is the first one on today's list, and it's actually the one that inspired today's video. It's got 1 million downloads and sits with 4.2 stars. As you can see, Ooh La La has a lot going on the screen. It's a team-based game where you fight for 2 weeks to see who can take the top position in idle style battles. This one right here is a ton of fun. The graphics are on point and it's great to play with friends as well. It's an extremely social game. The reason why this one is first on today's list is because it came recommended to me by Sinaldanite, a friend of mine from Call of Dragons. He plays this one on the side as well and suggested that I do the same. After checking it out, this one is on point. It's a lot of fun and does what an idle clicker is supposed to do. Next up is Crush Them All, 5 million downloads and 4.1 stars in the Google Play Store. As you can see from this one has a much more basic gameplay style. With that being said, it does the idle clicker genre well. It's very limited on what you need to do to compete in these battles. It's very easy to see what's going on in the battles versus the previous title we looked at, and it's very easy to see your progress as you see the bars moving upward in the bottom section of the screen. Really nice looking game, casual as far as the graphics go, a little bit more of a retro style, but it's an easy to see what's happening. It's not a difficult game to understand, and it will satisfy your idle clicker needs. Tap Dungeon Hero sits with 1 million downloads and 4.5 stars. Something that you're going to notice about all of these games is that, well, at least most of them are in the vertical style. It lends itself well to that casual style gameplay. This one, I actually love the theme of. There's a little bit more going on the screen, so it's not as basic as our previous title. And I do love the dark dungeon style, undead style characters that you encounter within this game. The upgrade progression with your heroes inside of this game is also very fun, easy to do, and it will help progress itself over time. As you progress through the game, you'll of course encounter different enemies, as you will in all of the titles that we're looking at here today. In this game, you go from one level to the next, beating your way through everything that comes in your way. At some point in time, you will find yourself stuck, which means you're going to need to upgrade heroes and progress yourself further through the game to progress. Tap Titans 2 sits with 10 million downloads and 4.6 stars. This game has a bit more of a shadow style gameplay, but it also has some really nice clean graphics as well. With that being said, there is a lot going on the screen. I particularly like the level themed combat that we saw in the previous game, but many people do like lots of action on the screen at one point in time, and being able to unlock and equip equipment as battles are going on. That's something that this game does very well. As the fight is happening, you can change the stats and change the abilities of your characters, which is kind of unique to this game versus some of the others that are on today's list. Miner's Settlement sits with 1 million downloads and 4.6 stars. Now inside of this game, you're obviously playing as a miner. Combat here is a lot less than you would see in some of the other titles that we're looking at here today. Much more of a casual themed game with much more casual themed upgrades that you're going to do along the way. More towards how you look and how you perform actions in the game versus the combat itself. This one's available to play on both BlueStacks as well as on mobile, and it's a really fun one if you're looking for something that's a little bit more casual and lighter on the combat. Raid the Dungeon, 1 million downloads and 4.4 stars. And finally, we're looking at the first game here that is in the landscape or the horizontal mode. Here, the game is going to be giving you a full screen of gameplay versus an upgrade screen split with a gameplay screen. With that being said, we still have the same idle style gameplay. Lots of stuff is going on the screen at one time. It can be hard to follow if you struggle with seeing what you're actually doing inside of the game. But with that said, it's an idle game. Do you really need to see what's going on? All you need to do is collect your rewards as you progress through the stages and enjoy the bright colors as they flash in front of your eyes on the screen, if you're even watching. I want to remind you guys, if you enjoy these videos, if you like to stay up to date on the latest and up and coming mobile games, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on tomorrow's and the day after and every day's video. Archer Forest, 1 million downloads and 4.7 stars. And as you can see, we're slowing things down with Archer Forest right here. The combat is much more basic. Of course, it gets itself more enhanced as time goes on, but the basic elements of the combat are, well, pretty evident as we watch. With that being said, you upgrade and can create different weapons as the battles go on, level up your weapons to make them stronger as well as those battles goes on. The waves continuously come with new enemies that are stronger as you need to progress your weapons to take down those stronger enemies along the way. You'll get power-ups and boosts as you go, which are going to aid you in that combat. A much slower but also different style idle clicker in this one, which is maybe a little bit less idle. Zombie Idle Defense, 5 million downloads with 4.3 stars. Inside of this one, you find yourself behind a barricade, taking down waves of enemies that are coming your way. The enemies are all the undead, and this one reminds me of a more classic style mobile game. Here you're going to be upgrading your characters, utilizing your supers that you have along the way, and really just keeping the enemies from making their way towards your barricades. Very different style gameplay than the others, but also has a relevant space in the App Store and is extremely fun to play. It just feels a little bit different, and the nice way that you can upgrade along the way is going to kind of give you that rewarding feel as you continuously kill, take it down, and just shut down the incoming waves. It's a satisfying game. Idle Monster Tower Defense, 500,000 downloads and 4.7 stars. Now, you guys know me at this point in time, and you know that I love tower defense games, so I could let some things go that I may not let go in other style games. In this one, it's going to be the graphics. The graphics, in my opinion, are a bit subpar, but the gameplay is really fun and satisfying, and it does implement that idle style to it as well. Much less attention to the battle are you going to need to take inside of this one. Just continuously upgrade along the way, or let those upgrades automatically happen as you progress, or try to prevent the enemies from taking it to the end of the map. Tap Tap Heroes, 5 million downloads and 4.6 stars. This game has some really nice graphics, some of the best in the genre, and it has a bunch of different heroes that you can unlock along the way, ascend them as you go to make them stronger and stronger, and really you're just going to be continuously upgrading throughout the game. The battles are fun, they're explosive, and they're full of color, and the gameplay is just really rewarding. I think this game is done really well and is probably less popular than it should be inside of the genre. This one can definitely become one of your favorites in the idle space. If you give it a shot, I think it has what it takes to be on top of your list. Idle Heroes, 10 million downloads, 4.6 stars. Idle Heroes is by far the most popular game on today's list within the community, on YouTube, and in the App Store as well. Another horizontal style game giving you a lot of real estate for your battles. This is going to be one of those strategy style games, but with that idle element to it as well. This game's been around for a while, it's proven itself, and it continuously gets updated along the way, so you know that new things are always going to be coming to the game. It's a turn-based strategy style idle game that is a lot of fun and that looks really cool with a lot of upgrade mechanics and different types of combat formations you could bring throughout the game. Little Hero Casual Idle RPG sits with 4.7 stars on the rankings. Simple yet rewarding is the best way to describe this game. It's got the RPG element to it, so you'll find yourself upgrading your gear the same way that you would in an RPG game, except for this one, well, it's idle. There's not much that you need to do. You'll continuously be attacked in the loading screen, and you'll just upgrade things along the way as you gain loot passively. That's what the idle element is, but this one, with its kind of basic graphic package that it offers, brings you into an RPG style realm, into an RPG world, and gives it its own little flair in that sense. It's a lot of fun, and it does have that retro vibe. Let me know in the comments section below what your favorite games are on mobile, and as well as that, if you've made it this far, let's get a hashtag made it in the comments so I know you're an OG.